Welcome to Reddit Storyline. Some friendships end because of betrayal. Some end because of lies. And some end because of something so small, it almost sounds ridiculous. But sometimes, the smallest object can carry the biggest meaning. A single comment can destroy a relationship. A single secret can tear a family apart. And in today's stories, we're diving into situations where ordinary moments turned into unforgettable conflicts. We have a friendship that may have ended over a $500 teapot. A relationship destroyed by one cruel sentence at the dinner table. A father who is finally facing the consequences of his own choices. A family argument that went too far. And a secret that was never supposed to leave the room. 5 Reddit stories. 5 complicated situations. And at the end of each one, the only question that really matters is, what would you do? Let's start with a story about a teapot that changed everything. When OP traveled to China a few years ago, she brought back something that most people would probably walk right past in a store. It wasn't jewelry. It wasn't designer clothes. It wasn't expensive electronics. It was a small clay teapot. But to her, it was priceless. The teapot was made from Yixing clay, a special type of unglazed clay used in traditional Chinese tea culture. Unlike regular teapots, this one wasn't supposed to be washed with soap or scrubbed with a sponge. Over time, the clay absorbs the flavor of the tea, slowly building a rich and unique taste with every use. The more you use it, the better it becomes. It's almost like a cast iron pan that gets seasoned over time. So OP treated it with extreme care. She never left it in the kitchen. She never let guests touch it, and she always cleaned it the proper way, just hot water and air drying. To anyone else, it might have looked like a simple teapot. But to her, it was a personal treasure. Then one week, OP had to leave for a work trip. Since she was going to be gone for several days, she asked her friend to watch her cat. She paid her for the help and told her she could use anything in the kitchen while she stayed there. Food, kettle, dishes, coffee machine, everything was available. There was just one unspoken rule. The Yixing teapot was not in the kitchen. It was placed behind a glass cabinet in the living room, far away from the normal dishes and utensils. OP assumed that no one would touch it. After all, it wasn't where regular kitchen items were kept. But when OP came home after her trip, something immediately felt wrong. The apartment smelled slightly different. Not bad, just unusual. She walked into the kitchen and saw the sink. And that's when her stomach dropped. The Yixing teapot was sitting inside the sink. Wet. Covered in soap residue. For a moment, she just stared at it, hoping she was imagining things, but the smell confirmed everything. Soap. She slowly picked it up and looked inside. There were scratches along the inner walls. Deep scratches. The kind that only come from a rough metal sponge. Her hands started shaking. She tried rinsing it with hot water. She tried boiling water inside it. She tried everything she could think of. But every time she brewed tea, the same thing happened. The tea tasted like soap. The teapot was ruined. So she called her friend. At first, her friend sounded completely normal. And then OP asked the question. "Did you use my teapot?" There was a short silence on the phone, then her friend casually said yes. She explained that she loved the tea OP usually made and wanted to try it herself. She found the teapot, used it, and cleaned it afterward because she didn't want to leave it dirty. She even said she tried to be careful. She didn't put it in the dishwasher. She just washed it with soap and a wire sponge because she couldn't find the regular sponges. OP felt her chest tighten. She explained that the teapot wasn't supposed to be washed with soap at all. She explained that the clay absorbs everything. She explained that it was permanently damaged. Her friend sounded surprised, but not concerned. She simply said, "Can't you just clean it again?" OP tried to stay calm. She told her that the teapot was ruined and asked if she could replace it. After a short pause, her friend agreed to take a look at the price. So OP found the closest replacement online. It wasn't even the same one she bought in China. It was actually cheaper. About $500. She sent her friend the link. A few minutes later, her phone rang. Her friend was furious. She said $500 for a teapot was ridiculous. She said Opie should have told her not to use it. She said it wasn't her fault because no one explained the rules. Opie pointed out that the teapot was behind glass in a completely different room. It wasn't in the kitchen. It wasn't with the regular dishes. It was clearly something special. But her friend refused to pay. She insisted that Opie should just accept the loss and move on. Now Opie is stuck wondering if asking for the $500 replacement was too much, or if her friend should take responsibility for something she damaged. So what do you think? Should the friend replace the teapot, or should Opie accept the loss and move on? The Heartless Boyfriend. Some relationships don't fall apart slowly. They collapse in a single moment, in a single sentence, in a single look that changes everything you thought you knew about someone. Opie had been with her boyfriend for 3 years, and during those 3 years, she truly believed she had found the person she was going to spend her life with. He had been there during the most painful chapter of her life, when her father was diagnosed with leukemia. The disease progressed quickly, and within just a few months, her father was gone. It was the kind of loss that leaves a permanent scar on a family. Her younger half-sister took it especially hard. She was only 16 at the time, still trying to figure out who she was and what her future looked like. Before their father got sick, she was active, energetic, and disciplined. She loved going to the gym, loved staying healthy, and enjoyed pushing herself physically. But after the funeral, everything changed. She stopped going to the gym. She stopped caring about her routine. She started staying at home more often, eating comfort food, and slowly withdrawing from the world. It wasn't just weight gain. It was grief taking control of her life. Opie understood that, and she tried to protect her sister as much as possible, making sure she never felt judged or pressured. That's why what happened during a simple family lunch felt so shocking. Opie and her boyfriend were invited to her sister's house for a quiet afternoon meal. Nothing special, just homemade pizza and a relaxed family atmosphere. They sat around the table, talking about work, school, and everyday things, trying to enjoy a peaceful moment together. At one point, her sister quietly asked if she could have another slice of pizza. It was such a small, ordinary request that no one expected anything unusual. Then Opie's boyfriend looked at her and said something that instantly froze the entire room. "Are you sure you want another slice? Looking like that?" The words hung in the air like a heavy weight. No one spoke. No one moved. Her sister's face immediately changed, and within seconds, her eyes filled with tears. She pushed her chair back, stood up, and ran to her room, slamming the door behind her. Opie sat there, completely stunned. She couldn't believe what she had just heard. This was the same man who had comforted her when her father died. The same man who had told her family that they needed to stick together and support each other during difficult times. And now, he had just humiliated her teenage sister in front of everyone. The rest of the lunch was silent and uncomfortable. On the drive home, Opie finally found the courage to speak. She told him the relationship was over. He looked confused and asked why she was being so dramatic. He said it was just a joke and that people needed to learn how to take criticism. He even tried to justify it by saying that he was just being honest and concerned about her health. That was the moment Opie realized something that scared her. He truly believed he had done nothing wrong. There was no apology, no regret, no understanding of the pain he had caused. So she ended things right there. 3 years of relationship ended in one car ride. Later that evening, she tried calling her sister, but she didn't answer. She sent a message to her sister's mom and was told that she was okay but needed some space. Opie plans to visit her the next day with flowers, hoping to show her that she supports her and that she regrets not reacting immediately at the table. Now she's left wondering if ending a 3-year relationship so quickly was the right decision, or if she should have tried to work through the situation first. What would you have done? Would you have walked away immediately, or tried to repair the relationship after an apology?